This Texas Winds performance has been generously sponsored by the Reserve at North Dallas, a senior lifestyle community, and by Belmont Village, Senior Living, Turtle Creek. This performance was recorded at the Shigeru Kawai Concert Hall in Plano, Texas.
Good morning. We're the Texas Winds String Trio. Ordinarily, we play for live audiences, but since that's not possible in this pandemic time, we're coming to you via video. We hope that it will sing live and liven up your day. My friend Mary Alice plays the violin. My friend Gretchen plays the cello. My name is Jane, and I play the viola. You know, music is sometimes called the universal language. This is because we don't know of any time in history or any place in the world where music hasn't been a part of people's lives. This morning, we're going to bring you music from different time periods and different places in the world, kind of a musical sampler. We hope you'll enjoy the journey.
We'll begin with the year 1500, which is the middle of the Renaissance. The Renaissance was a 200-year-long blossoming of the arts, and Italy was at the heart of this, when artists of all kinds were patronized by popes, kings, queens, and powerful families like the Medicis. But what was happening with music? At this time, one would have heard music mostly for voice or voices, accompanied perhaps by a lute or a viola da gamba, which is the ancestor to my cello. To illustrate this era, we've chosen a pavana, which was a stately court dance. The pavana form still survives today, 500 years later, although it has changed from its original role of a dance.
The next historical period is the Baroque, from the 1600s to the 1700s. This was a very rich time for music. It produced two of our most famous composers, Bach and Handel. Some of Handel's compositions you may know of are the Water Music, the Royal Fireworks Music, both written for the British royalty, and the Messiah. Now you will hear Tempo di Marcia, a march movement from a Handel suite. As you listen, picture a bride walking down the aisle.
Well, we've just heard some music to get married by, and we've imagined a bride walking down the aisle, and now we're ready for some romance. So we are going to turn to opera from the Romantic period in the mid-1800s. A beautiful piece by Mascagni is called Intermezzo.
America is a nation of immigrants. Unless we are full-blood Native Americans, each one of us is a descendant of someone who came here from another part of the world. When people migrate, they bring their culture, including their music, with them. Because of this, in our country, we enjoy a very rich musical tapestry. Lots of people here in Texas enjoy fiddling, which is part of the country western tradition. Fiddling actually came here with Scottish and Irish settlers. As you listen to Coleraine, an Irish fiddle tune, maybe you'll feel like tapping your foot or clapping with the beat.
1, 2. Now we're going to Cuba to hear a wonderful rumba by Ernesto Lacuna, and we hope it makes you feel like dancing. Now we're going to Texarkana, Texas, where the great African-American composer Scott Joplin was born. He was the one who created this new and exciting music that had all these jagged rhythms to it. They called them ragged rhythms, and it turned into ragtime. We're going to play one of our favorite ragtime pieces. It's not by Scott Joplin, but we really love this one by Lucketh Roberts. It's called The Junkman Rag.
In the 20th century, we have the rise of so-called popular music, driven by the invention of movies, radio, and later television. Broadway was producing musicals such as Showboat in the 1920s, Oklahoma in the 1940s, and more recently in our time, Cats and the Lion King. And the movies were becoming more sophisticated too, and the music being composed for them was reflecting that. We're going to play a beautiful song composed for a movie called Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's called Moon River. Please hum or sing along as we play.
1 and 2, 3.
Now we're going to play The Surrey with the Fringe on Top from the musical Oklahoma by Rodgers and Hammerstein, a great example of musical theater. I'll set the scene for you. We're on a farm in Oklahoma. Our hero, Curly, and his girl, Laurie, are standing in front of the farmhouse, admiring the new Surrey. Curly wants to take her out for a drive in it. But all around them as he sings are the chickens and the ducks and the geese pecking and scratching at the ground. Rodgers was so clever when he wrote this music. He incorporated the sound of the scratching and the pecking into the song through the violin and the viola. Please listen for it because it's a charming effect.
for our last piece, we wanted to have something joyful. And what better piece than Beethoven's Ninth's Ode to Joy? If you feel like singing, please do.
This project is supported in part by an award from the National Endowment for the Arts, the Texas Commission on the Arts, and grants from the cities of Dallas, Richardson, Mesquite, DeSoto, and Garland.